Hey guys,
Hi YouTube.
welcome back to part 3 Boondocking series. I haven't really been putting like part 1s, 2s, and 3s, but this would be 3.
Yeah.
And then today, we're going to talk about water, composting toilets, and showering. So, let's start off with water. First and foremost is, how do you find water? When we first got to Three Lakes last year, we basically went off word of mouth. But we also, what we did is went down to Kenansville, which is a little country store, and we asked them if they had a spigot and would mind if we filled our water. We told them we was getting 80 gallons. They didn't mind a bit. I don't know that I would go there all the time getting water, but it was a source.
Right.
What was the other place? The library.
Community center.
The community center there was another place that people went to, and they loved you getting the water there. It's just well water. It's not costing them nothing.
Right.
And the boat ramp. But that was just 3 places within 9 miles. It was very, very easy to get it.
How did we find out about the community center?
From word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Other boondockers, talking to other boondockers in the area.
Well, it's right there by the library. The library and the community center are right together, and some friends of ours were actually, they went to the library regularly to use the internet, and they volunteered at the community center. So they talked to them, hey, we need water and an easy way to get it, and they said, well, we don't mind if people get it here. They've done it before. So that's how we found out about the community center.
Yes, and then the boat ramp, which is where I generally went anyways, because it was just, I don't know if it's easier, but you got to see all the fishermen and boaters, I guess. I don't know. But if you're out and about, we've gotten it at rest areas.
Yes.
And the sign will have potable, non-potable. And a lot of times, non-potable is simply because it's well water and there's probably nothing wrong with it. It's just not tested. Potable water has to be tested so often. You want to take a chance, I don't know. But if the spigot's there and it has no sign on it, we have filled up. It's not killed us, dirtied our tanks, didn't smell, nothing.
Well, we filter our drinking water too.
That's a whole nother, you're getting ahead of me.
I'm sorry.
But you can also, like freecampsites.net, you can also go to, I don't have my glasses on.
Let me see.
It's,
right here?
Yes.
www.rvdumpsites.net.
Dumpsites.net. You can go there, and it's set up just like free campsites are. I'll put a link to it. And you go to the area you're going to go to, and it will have all the places you can dump. And when you click on it, it has a thing that comes up, and it tells you if it's potable, non-potable, if it's a dump, it's, whatever. It comes up and tells you. But you can just about go to any truck stop,
Rest area,
especially if you're running along and find a mom and pop little grocery store, convenience store. They always let you. I have really I've never had no trouble finding water. We have had trouble dumping.
yes.
And that's a whole nother thing. How do we haul it? I have my son in Okeechobee found a place that he works for the city,
Yes.
Okeechobee City, for their treatment plant, sewage treatment plant. And where they get their chlorine from comes in a 50-gallon blue barrel, not jug, and a 30. And when we got them, he got both of them, and he got them for like $7 a piece. You can find these things everywhere.
Right.
But we cleaned them, we bleached them, we took the the cap out of it, drilled it out. It's 3/4. It's threaded. It's already threaded. You just have to drill it out. And you take a 3/4 inch for your house. We use the plastic ones, and a little water spinner spigot. My mind just went blank.
Spigot, the water spigot.
And you put it in there, and then you can get your water out of it. You just put it in the back of your truck. Also, a way to haul it is these bladders. You can buy these bladders, and you get them a 60 and 100 gallon. They're about $90 to $110, and they will fold up as tight as a laptop.
Right.
but expand out
60 gallons.
to 60 to 100 gallon, and it's basically a big water bed's what it looks like.
And you can haul that in the back of your truck or your car.
Yeah, a lot of them put them in the trunk of cars. My buddy Andy has a Honda CRV, and I'll insert a picture right here. He carries a 50 or 55, I think it's a 50 gallon jug that he bought off Amazon. Paid about $100 or so for it.
It's food grade.
It's a food grade tank. Paid a little over $100 for it. I have to find out exactly. I think it's just a little over 100. He put all the spigots and everything he needed on it, and he hauls it in the back of his Honda. You can haul water. It's not that I've seen people do it.
Those big trash bag things that Kevin used.
Some way these guys was getting like 5-ply and melting them together, and they made their own bladder. I didn't quite understand how they did it, and I never really looked into it.
But we will next time.
Gary, the guy I interviewed that's been boondocking for 40 years, he made one. Kevin made one that was there, but they made their own water bladder. And I should have been paying attention, and that would have been very interesting to film. But it's not hard to haul water at all. Even if you got to haul it in 5 gallons at a time, you can haul water. But how I pump mine out is I have our coach, it has to be forced in. You can't gravity feed it in. They say you can if you get it up high enough, but it would take forever because it has to go through all the plumbing. It doesn't go direct to the freshwater tank. So I force it in, and what I have is an RV pump that I attach to the barrel, put a garden hose on the other side. I have a long 20-foot wire. I put alligator clips up on the battery post of the little Ranger, turn it on, flip it over to fill, and it fills our tanks. It's that simple.
Right. Well, it takes a while.
Well, you're pumping 2.5 gallons a minute. Andy on his 50 does basically the same thing I do. It's just, and you can, the RV pump's the easiest way to do it. People will buy 110 pumps and submergible pumps. They'll buy all these different ones. But if you buy an RV pump and you buy the one that is for your RV, and I mean they're pretty much just universal.
Right.
You always have a backup. Something happens to the pump in this, use the pump that you used to pump your water. You always have a backup.
And a friend of ours that happened to. They ended up using their spare pump because their pump went out. Matt.
I thought he bought one, but
Okay.
she might be right. Matt. But anyways, I will put a link below. Last year I did a video on how I hauled my water in the barrels, and I'll put that link below. And it describes it a lot better. It's not hard to haul water.
What's next?
How to pump it, we did that one. How much do you use and how long does it last you? Well, I walked around because RV Daydream asked this question, and I went around and I asked several people and I videoed it, and here it is. So how big is your freshwater storage?
72 gallons fresh water.
And you and your wife, how long does it last you? No laundry.
No laundry, 7 to 10 days on average.
7 to 10 days. I'm just going to throw a hint out. I'm not saying anything to anybody. But just pay attention. Okay, how big's your fresh water in your coach?
My freshwater tank is 115 gallons.
And how long does that last you?
If we're real conservative, we can go a week, but most often it's around 5 days or so. We need to fine tune our water usage. But when it's readily available, I find that you have a tendency to use a little bit more.
And there's 2 of you.
There's 2 of us here in our coach, yes.
What's the size of your freshwater tank?
48 gallons.
Family of 4, how long does it last?
4 days, probably 5 days if we push it. That's with shower and everything.
So there you go.
How much do we use?
We can carry 70 gallons, and if we, on an average, I'd say we could go 7 days very easy.
Right.
Very easy. And the reason I say that is today it's 74 degrees. Okay, yesterday it was in the 80s. It was humid and hot yesterday, and we both took showers before we went to bed. Tonight, we're not hotty, we're not sweaty, we can get by with not taking a shower today. And it depends on the weather. People don't realize that. They can say, well, I take a shower every 3 days. Well, that's fine, but if you're in a humid area, I'm not going to bed sticky.
There's times I've taken 2 a day.
Not too long ago, we both took 2 a day. Got up in the morning and took
Yeah.
it, and then took
Ooh.
one that evening before we went to bed. So we can stretch ours out to 7. When I was by myself last year, I actually almost went 2 weeks. But I was by myself. No, I never stunk. I was by myself. I did no laundry. But that also puts us to, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but getting into the composting toilet thing. A lot of your water usage, if you have an RV toilet, and I looked this up, it was kind of hard to find it, but I found it. An RV toilet on an average, every time you flush it, now obviously you control what it uses, but on an average they say you should use 3 pints of water to flush your toilet for normal use.
Right.
I don't know what normal use is, but that's what they're saying. And in that case with 2 people, you're looking at about 3 or 4 gallons a day just to flush your toilet, which is a plus point on the composter. You don't need water to flush your toilet. We even noticed not going through water as fast when we went over to our composter.
Right.
So once you start adding your laundry in it and everything else, obviously it's going to go faster. We have friends that can take their water and stretch it out almost 2 weeks. They use a pan outside to do their dishes like you did when you tent camped.
Right.
We don't. We actually don't conserve water at all, do we?
No, if we're in a place where we know we need to conserve water, we do.
Usually when we're traveling, we're more conservative. But like when we got to 3 Lakes, it's 9 miles down the road. When we got to Hickory and Dupree, it was
On site.
the Dupree was right behind us, and Hickory was a couple hundred yards.
Yeah.
It was nothing to get it. So you have a tendency not to conserve it. Not saying you probably shouldn't, but we didn't. So, and that kind of leads to the long-term boondocking and short-term boondocking. If you go in and you're going to boondock 2 or 3 days, and you have 70 to 100 gallons, 50, I don't know what. These coaches are all up in the 70 to 100. I think
Some of the
Josh's...
fifth wheels hold more.
Our fifth wheel's 90 gallons. I think Josh's is 30, 40 gallons. And for 2 people, you're going to be here 3 days. You don't need to conserve water. You fill it before you go in. You don't even have to worry about it. It's all long term. And, you know, we just spent November 15th to March 1st at 3 Lakes, never moved.
Right.
So we was constantly running water, and it all depended on how much laundry she did, basically, as to how much we ran it. Which gets to a very controversial part. Now you're boondocking, you have a composting toilet, you can dump it in a bag and haul off to the dumpster, perfectly legal, but what do you do with your gray water? It's the only thing you have left. You can buy a combiner, which I have, and you put it on your outside where you hook your sewer hose up, and it has its own valve. You hook it up and you open both valves, and now you've just combined your black and your gray all together.
Right.
And you want to make sure your gray's clean when you do this. And then it just, you know, you hook a garden hose up to it or your regular hose, whatever you want to do, and then you can dump it however you find that you need to dump it. But I will say this, it is hard to find laws on RV gray water. And I know as soon as I say this, I'm going to have 1,000 comments that are showing me the laws. In the areas I've camped in, looking up the laws, talking to FWC, talking to the biologist, whoever you have to talk to, there really isn't no laws for RVs. The gray water laws all come in with houses and mobile homes, not really RVs in the areas we've been in. Not saying you get in certain areas they aren't, but you can look it up and they want you to save your gray water to water trees because of the drought. Gray water is not nasty. It's not dirty. If we can, we run ours out on the ground.
But we use organic soaps too.
We do in everything. We're not running a big pile. It doesn't look like we washed our car out there.
Right.
But we've been to places we couldn't do that. 3 Lakes tells you that you cannot dump no bodily fluids. And that's leaving that wide open because if you pee in the shower, you're dumping bodily fluids.
Now.
No, I mean, right?
Well.
Realistically, you are.
Realistically, yes.
So, you know, it's a fine line and you have to do what's comfortable for you. If I can dump mine on the ground, if I'm in a place that's legal to do it, I'm not going to get a fine. I don't have to hide it. I don't have a problem doing it. It's no different to me than when we was tent camping and dumping the water or taking a shower outside. Absolutely no different. But that is your other biggest problem boondocking is your gray water. A lot of people haul it away. Probably 90% of the people we have ran into boondocking the last 2 years run it on the ground.
Yeah,
When you
it's kind
say-
of one of those things that nobody really talks about, though.
No, I mean, we've talked about
Yeah.
it, boondocking with other people and asking them what they do, and everybody's always hesitant to say anything. Come on, get up here. So, that's the water. And the next is moving along here is composting toilets. Like I said, you're using on average of 3 pints per flush is what they recommend you use, and that's 3 to 4 gallons a day. If you can go to a composting toilet, in my opinion, you're a lot better off. You can buy the Nature's Head, which is what we bought. It was $960. Come with an extra pee jug.
It looks like a real toilet.
It looks and sits like a new toilet. Chip and Ruth, Kevin and Jackie. I remember their name. Both of them built theirs and probably didn't have $10 in the whole thing, and both of them looked really nice. Chip and Ruth looked like it actually belonged in there. The way they made this big bench with the lid to get the composting to put it on, and they used a bucket. They put a bag in it. They double bag. And whenever they use it, they sprinkle composting on it, and they divert their urine, and their urine goes into their black tank.
Right.
The other couple, they divert their urine into a 2-gallon jug or a gallon jug. I don't know the size, but
Yeah.
it converts it in. It's called a nun's cap, and you attach it, below your toilet seat, and that's where you aim. But they don't have $10, probably $15 in that.
Right.
It's all in what you're comfortable with on a composting toilet. We can take our composter, I've went 5 weeks. This one now, we're probably starting on the 4th week.
Are we really?
Yeah, and it's,
Wow.
because we dumped it at Hickory, never dumped it at Dupree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're probably over the 3rd and starting into the 4th week. It's just starting to turn a little slow, but I mean, we can dump it. It's just
We get the grandkids this weekend, so we're trying to make it last so we got fresh to start with.
a couple days they come in, so we need to start
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, if you're going to boondock long term, a composting toilet, if it's a 5-gallon bucket with a Nerf noodle, pool noodle on it, and I don't have a problem with it. You're basically pooping in a bucket no matter what you do. So it's whatever you're comfortable with. And people will come in and look at our Nature's Head and I say, I don't see how you can use that. There's absolutely no smell to this thing, is there?
That's how I can use it.
It sits like a regular toilet. It performs like a regular toilet, I guess. Well, it doesn't perform, I guess, but it works.
Yeah.
But, I'm gonna get my eyeballs on. I'm getting all sidetracked here.
Okay. We're behaving.
So that's toilets. And real quick, since we're talking about water in this one and your toilet and everything, taking a shower. Taking a shower and doing dishes and washing your hands in the bathroom are your 3 biggest water users.
Right.
It's amazing how much water you use brushing your teeth if you let it run.
I use more water washing dishes. That's where I see most of my water consumption. And since I noticed that, I've been more conservative with my water. But I even turn the water on and off when I do my dishes. And I still use a lot of water doing dishes.
You do. Washing your hands. I wish the Oxygenics made one for each faucet. They make them little air ones you put on there. We've had them at home.
Yeah.
But they're horrible. It takes too long to fill anything up. But as far as the shower, we have an Oxygenics. It's 2 gallons per minute. We've sat here trying to figure out how many
Minutes.
without timing
How
it.
many gallons?
But we're guessing about 3 gallons a shower on an average. Wouldn't you say?
I'd say average, because
And
it depends. I mean, sometimes when it's hot and it takes me a little longer because I want cooler water, so I don't know. I want to wash my hair. It takes a little longer, so I use more water. He uses less water, so it all evens out.
I guarantee I could go in and do a shower in 2 minutes, which is 4 gallons. And that's letting the water, that's not a shower that lasts 2 minutes. That's how long it ran, shutting it off, turning it on, and all that.
Right.
But I think the Oxygenics is the most affordable, best shower head for an RV you can get. It has awesome pressure.
Oh yeah.
We there's a lot of times if we're hooked up to a campsite, an RV park, and their water's coming in and it's horrible as far as pressure. We fill our fresh water tank and run out of our fresh water tank because we have a lot better pressure coming off our pump with the Oxygenics.
Right.
The shower head that was originally in here, we used it one trip, and it trickled out of it. I have really thick hair, and it trickled out of it. That Oxygenics does a lot better job.
It
well
does.
worth the money. And they got a whole line of them now. The big old fancy waterfall
tops. Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
But we're boondocking, you can't use it. So, there you have it. Hopefully we've touched on enough. I'll put the link to the video of me doing my water last year. I did a whole video on the blue barrels and my pump and how I used it all. It's very simple setup, and it gives you an extra RV pump. Remember, 2 is 1, 1 is 0. Remember that?
Remember.
Yes, it's always nice to have a backup, but in this lifestyle, I understand we can't have a backup for everything, and you can't, but you can for that. And it's easy, and it doesn't weigh that much.
And what was most important to me when we started? I want my showers.
Yeah.
I can use paper plates and get by with not having to do dishes, but I want my shower.
And we don't use paper plates a lot.
No, we don't.
It depends what we're eating. I'm not eating a steak on a paper plate, or I'm not eating pork chops on a paper plate. I want a real plate under me when I'm cutting on something.
Right, and eggs in the morning, you don't want them on a paper plate, not if they're gooey like I like mine.
No. And I know the more paper you use when you're having your campfire, right now we're on a ban here, you can't have a fire, but you can burn that paper off too if you want to. But right now we're outside of Fort Myers at her cousin's. She has a horse farm. She has 7 horses here.
Right.
And we're here for another week-ish.
Another week.
Ish.
Yeah, the grandkids come tomorrow, so we'll have them for
This
a
is
week.
Wednesday. They come
Oh,
Friday.
no, they don't come till Friday. So.
And then the following Friday, the 31st,
Right.
we're starting north.
Right.
Really don't want to.
Hey,
but
they have this much snow there right now.
yes, it snowed at home and they closed schools. They got like 4 inches, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in shorts. But anyways, there you go, guys. I hope that answers some questions. The next video on this boondocking will be
That's scary.
will be food and cooking, and
What do we eat when we're out here?
drives me nuts. You get on Facebook and sure enough somebody says we're going to be boondocking for 5 days. Oh my God, what do we eat?
I promise it's not tree bark.
No, we eat the same thing no matter where we're at.
Hey, you're getting ahead of yourself.
I am. But there you go, guys. You got any questions? Ask them. There's
Like-
one more question. I forget the guy. I might have to put his name below. But he asked, when we're boondocking long term, what do we do with our coach as far as starting it, moving it, seals? This coach has never sat no more than about 3 months, and I've moved it. If I was at a place that was going to be 6 months, at probably 3 months, I would move it because of all the seals and stuff. Once a month, I start the engine. It's a diesel. It's a 5.9 Cummins. I start it. I let it run a while, probably 20 minutes. Then I get in, I rev it up to 1,000 RPMs, and I sit there and I let it run like that for a while because that brings the temperature up. Brings the oil temperature up, oil pressure up, brings the water temperature up, and it's better for the motor to run. And it's exercising it. I also do the same thing with my generator. Once a month, I start it, I let it run for a little bit, and then usually I'll flip the airs on because that's putting the hardest hit on it. I'll run both airs, and I'll let it go for an hour, it exercises it, and I shut it back off. So,
Yep.
I hope that answered that question. But I probably wouldn't let, even our semis, we would never let them sit very long.
No.
A month or two if it sat that long. I don't even remember one sitting that long. But I remember my buddy Reggie put his Kenworth, because he went to drive for another guy, put it in the barn. It sat there almost 7 months and pulled it out. And he had seals and everything leaking on that
Oh,
thing.
it was
So,
a mess.
yes. And when I got this coach, it had sat for a while. And I think it was about 9 months. Has an Allison transmission, and it was leaking. But once it started driving and it heated back up, it sealed itself, which I read is very common with them, and I've never had a problem, knock on wood. with it. But there's my answer with that one. So you guys have a good day. We definitely are. It is 74 degrees here in South Florida and sunny. So guys, thanks a lot. Hope you're enjoying this series. And Facebook,
Instagram.
and we'll see you next time. Bye,
Thumbs
guys.
up.
Yeah, or thumbs down. We don't care. We'll see you guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.